Hi, my name is Joanne Cornell, and I'm going to be doing a video on answering a question. So the question is, how do I make it so that this looks as long as that piece? Let me just put the camera up really quick on a stand, and then I can show you exactly what I'm talking about with my fingers and not having to do this contortion thing. Of course, my stand isn't gonna... I have one stand, but I'm using this stand because I need to do it face down, and the only way I can do it face down is to be able to do it this way. So, what she means is she wants to have it so that it gives the illusion that this is the same length as here to here. So here to here and here to here is the same length, okay? So, it is 2 inches wide and it's 4 inches long when it's going to be final. So that means you need to add, and here's the how it hopefully this makes sense. So 4 inches, and then you have to add the inseam. So 4 inches with a 1/4 inch inseam is going to need a 1/2 inch extra. So it'll be 4.5 inches long. Okay, now same thing with the width. If you want to do the width and you want to do it 2 inches wide, you're going to have to add a 1/2 inch extra in order to get it to be a 1/4 inch inseam. Hope you're following. Okay, now if you want it to be a 1/2 inch inseam on both sides, you need to make it 5 inches long and 3 inches wide. That'll take off 1/2 inch on this side, 1/2 inch on this side, 1/2 inch on this side, 1/2 inch on this side when you're sewing, and then it's going to be the 4 inches by the 2 inches. Okay, so that's piece A. Piece B is going to be 2 inches because this is already 2 inches. So it's going to be the same thing as this one minus 2 inches in the length. Okay? Hope you're still following. I'm going to do a diagram below, and that's going to try to show you. I'm having to do everything upside down, so it's going to take a couple of minutes in order for me to sit there and be able to do. I can't do writing upside down. I can read upside down, but I can't write upside down. This is going to be a little bit more difficult. Okay, and I'm getting a glare from there, so I'm trying to change the phone so it doesn't give the glare. The glare on the phone is lower. All right, so remember, A is going to be always 2 inches wider than the B, longer than the B section. So if you were to make this 6 inches long here, it would be 6.5 or 7 inches long, depending on what you want your inseam. And then the same thing would be here. So it'd be, let's say it's 6.5, okay? It would be minus 2 because of the final width this way. So it'll be 7 this way or 6.5 this way. And over here, it'll be 4.5 or 5 this way. Then, like I said, when you do the inseam, you sew and you sew and you sew and you sew, it's going to be the 6 inches this way, and it'll be 6 inches from here to here. But really 4.5 or 4 or 5 this way, depending on what's going on, what you're doing. Alrighty, let me do it on a diagram so that way you can actually see it on a piece of paper and get the idea that way and how to figure this out. Okay. Cameraman's moving stuff. Try to get it in position quick. And now let's do this. I am going to use these lines as a grid line, okay? So the grid line is going to be a little bit different than what you normally would want to do. Let me see if I can get this camera positioned. I hope this is positioned good enough. It's not, I will move the piece of paper hopefully and get it so you can see everything. So this is going to be, from here to one of these lines, is going to be a 1/2 inch. So this is an inch. This is 2 inches, because 1, 2 is 2 inches. 1, 2 is 3 inches. 1, 2 is 4 inches, okay? I'm doing it this way for a reason. So here we go. This inch, 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 and these are 1/2 inches, okay? Just so you can see the ruler. So now I'm going to do one more. Actually, I got to do one more because I messed up. One more, all right? So now when I do the fabric, I am going to go, oh, I think I got one more. I am going to go and do the fabric. Finished, it's going to go from here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now this is piece A, okay? So piece A is going to be longer than piece B. So piece A, 4 inches. Whoops. Piece A. 4 inches. Now I'm going to do this one just so I can get it somewhat the same scale. I don't want it to not be the same scale. So 1 inch, 2 inches, 3 inches, I think. I don't need any more than 3 inches just to give you a thing idea. All right, so now it's going to be 2 inches wide. So 1 inch, 2 inches wide. And then it's going to go here to there. And then this one, well, this one, actually, this one is going to be A, so this one's going to be the longer one. But I want to show that line because this is going to be 2 inches, 2 inches. And then it's going to be, oops. And then it's going to be 1, 2 inches this way, okay? Not totally perfect, but so it's going to be, actually it's going to be 3 2-inch blocks if you wanted to do it that way, but you're not going to do it 3-inch block because she just wants to do it one long piece and one shorter piece in order to make it so that it's 4 inches this way. So what she's trying to do is 4 inches from here to here. So 4 inches, okay? And then what she wants to do is 4 inches from here to here. So 4 inches. I'm getting better at it already. I did this a couple of times already, and then I messed up, and then I want to do it. So just like that picture. She wants this from here to here to be 4 inches, and from here to here to be 4 inches. So this is the 4 inches. This is going to be 2 inches really. Even though it's 4 from here to here, it's only 2 inches here because you need to take this width away from there. Hope you're understanding it because I can't see your faces in order to know whether or not you're getting it or not. And I hope this is in line because I can't really see that good. All right, so now you're going to have to add your inseam. So this piece is solid. It's A. And then this one is the B. In here, B, okay? So adding your inseam, if you wanted it to be a half, if you want it to be a 1/4 inch inseam, you have to add 1/4 inch plus 1/4 inch. So that's going to equal, is that on the video? Oops, it's not on the video. Okay, here we go. I'm just trying to see. Okay, so 1/4 inch plus a 1/4 inch is going to give you a 1/2 inch that you need to add. Okay, my 2 is a little messed up, I'm sure, but now if you want a 1/2 inch, seam, you have to add a 1/2 inch and a 1/2 inch, and that's going to equal 1 inch. So that means you need to add a 1. So inseam, and let me write this really quick. Inseam. Let me do it that way, just so I'm not having to do it upside down. Inseam. 1/4 inch inseam, 1/4 inch inseam. Gives you 1/2 inch extra. 1/2 inch inseam plus a 1/2 inch inseam, because you're having to do a 1/2 on this side, 1/2 on this side, or a 1/4 on this side and a 1/4 on this side, remember, because that's going to get sewn all the way up to the other black piece that she has. Black, it's all black over here, so it's got to get sewn. So it needs a seam here, so it needs a seam here. So, and it's going to be a same inseam on all of them. We need to do the same inseam, don't mess up. Usually if you end up going and putting your fabric, now here's a hint that you can do. Make something easier on yourself, is that when you're sitting there and you're doing the sewing, you're going to have your foot. And your foot's going to look like this, sort of. And the needle is where it goes in, right here, right? Okay, you can see that. I'm going to make sure. All right, so now here's the back of the machine. B-A-C-K, back of machine. And this is the front. F-R-O. Front. I hope I did that right. Front of the machine, okay? And you're at the front. This is where your seat is. There's you. Okay? Now what you're going to do is put your material in here. And you're going to put your material, and then you're going to have the little lines on the plate. This is the plate. You're going to have lines, right? But if you do from here to here, measure it, but it's usually a 1/4 inch. So from this needle line, where the needle goes, to the edge of the foot is usually, on most of them, is a 1/4 inch. So if you take your material and you go like this, and you put it down the sewing machine like this, right along the edge of the foot, that needle is going to be hitting your material right there at a 1/4 inch. If you have a bigger foot, adjust it. But that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if the edge of the material, then you might have to adjust it. If you want a 1/2 inch, it's going to be a little harder to guide though, because you're going to have to follow the line, whatever line it is. Measure from the needle to here and find out which line it is. Now, if you're going to do a 1/2 inch the whole time and your foot is a 1/4 inch, take a piece of tape and stick it on there. Take masking tape and just go like this and put a piece of masking tape right where the inch is. I mean, right where the 1/2 inch mark is. So if you do a 1/2 inch mark, right, you're always going to know where it is. Then you're just going to take the zipper foot and you're just going to, you're going to take the material and you're going to go down the 1/2 inch. And then this is going to be a 1/2 inch between here and here now. I'm hoping you're getting this. Like I said, usually I have a student in front of me, so then I know if they're understanding what I'm talking about or not. So now let's change this up a little bit. I'm going to make this longer. Make sure, maybe I want it to be 8 inches instead of 6 inches. Okay? So, instead of 4 inches. So now what I can do is do this instead. So this piece, you can sit there and add this one up this way, or you can add it the way you want it. So let's say I do 6 inches instead. So 6 inches is going to be here. And let's say I don't want to sit there and add all this, figure all this out, and then add 2 inches to each one of these diagrams, I can figure it out this way. So let's say this line is going to go to 6 inches now. Okay? And then this line to this line going here is going to be to 6 inches too. This is not going to be the scale now. Because I'm not using a paper, I'm just doing it. So let's say from here to here is 4. Here to here is 6 now. So 6 inches. Oh, this way. 6 inches, 6 inches, 8 inches. All right, so we're going to do 6 inches now. So 6 inches plus either the 1/2 inch for the seam, for the 1/4 inch seam, or a whole inch for the 1/2 inch seam. Okay? Now, once you figured out this long one, you're going to take the width away. So if you did it 2 inches, you're going to take 2 inches away. If you did it 4 inches, you're going to do 4 inches away. 3 inches will be 3. Do you know what I'm saying? And then you have to, on this, 6 inches, like I said, you have to add it. So it'll be, so piece A, let me just write this out really quick and I'm going to show you. So piece A on the first one is going to be either 4.5 inches, or it's going to be or it's going to be 5 inches. This is a 1/4 inch inseam, 1/2 inch inseam. Okay? Then piece B is going to be 2.5 by, and like I said, take 2 away from that because it's 2 inches wide. The final piece is going to be 2 inches wide. So 2 inches off of that. So it's going to be 3 inches. 3 inches, dummy. And that's going to be 1/4 inch inseam, 1/2 inch inseam. I'll turn this around so you can see it and we'll keep in. Alrighty. So that's what your 2 pieces are going to be. And it's 4 inches from here to here and 4 inches from here to here. So 4 inches, 4 inches, just like in that picture she did. Let me just show you the picture again really quick if I can get it up here. Oops. So 4 inches here, 4 inches here, 2 inches wide. So take 2 inches off. And then if you wanted it, my 6 inch diagram, where 6 inches final and 6 inches final, it's going to have to be A. Let me do it this way so we can both look at it. A, and I'll put it up again later too. It's going to be 6.5 or 7 inches, and then B is going to be 2 less. So it's going to be 4.5 or 2 less, 5 inches. Because it's going to be 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch. Inseam. So this one here is for 6 inches this way. Six inches this way, and this one is for 4 inches and 4 inches going this way. I will move this down in 1 second. I will keep it, oh, yep, I think you can see the whole thing in there. And that's what the pieces, those are the sizes of the pieces that you need. If you want to just add 1 or 2 more inches to whatever this is, like if you wanted that at 7, just do add 1 and 1, 1, 1, 1 to all these numbers. However much longer you want it, just add whatever it is to these numbers, and you're going to get it there. So if you wanted it 6 inches, if you wanted it 8 inches, it would be 8.5 or 9, and then it would be 8 take away, yeah, wait a minute, then it would be 8 or 9, I should say, because it's going to be 9, it'll be 8.5, so 8.5, it'll be 6.5, and then it'll be 6 there. Oh no, 7 there, 7 there, sorry, 7 there, in order to make a 1/2 inch. All right, I'm hoping you're understanding this. I can do the mathematical figure for you and everything else, but I think this explanation is making it so that anybody that doesn't even know algebra or remember algebra will get it. It's going to be the length plus either a 1/2 inch or a quarter of an or an inch, and then it's going to be the width plus a 1/2 inch or a quarter of an inch, 1/2 inch or an inch, and then the same thing with the B. But the B one, the length is going to be -2 of whatever this is. See, -2. See this number here? -2 is B, because that is the width. The width is going to be taken off. In order to make, the width is going to be taken off the length of the B one. Alrighty. If you have any questions, I did write an explanation on her. I did write an explanation on her post. Let me see if I can find out, see what it is quick, if I can find it quick. Quilters for beginners, patterns, here it is. So let me see what I wrote on there, and that way I can comments. Okay, here's what I wrote, so this way you can maybe figure it out this way too. I'm going to do it that way, okay? I'm sorry, I'm not in the, here we go. To get the red part to look 4 inches long going both directions for the final look, piece A needs to be 4 inches plus seam allowance on both sides. So if you're doing a 1/4 inch here and a 1/4 inch here, you have to add a 1/2 inch. If you're doing a 1/2 inch on this side and a 1/2 inch on this side, you need to do a whole inch extra. All right, so 1/4 inch allowance will be 4.5 inches long and then 2.5 inches wide. Piece B is going to need to be 2.5 inches long and 2.5 inches wide. That'll give you the illusion of the red part being the same length both ways, even though it really isn't, because you got a piece that makes it. The final size of each piece is going to be 4 inch by 2 inch wide, and the other one is going to be 2 inch by 2 inch block. So when you're finally in the final look, like the picture that I've been showing you, the diagram where she has the red, that's what it's going to be. It's going to be 2 by 2 and 4 by 2. 4 by 2 this way, 2 by 2 this way, and then that makes the L, and it makes it even. So it's 4 inches this way, 4 inches that way. Hope I'm explaining this enough. I teach this, but it's easier in person. The inseam, if it's a 1/2 inch, so if you want a 1/2 inch inseam, you have to add 1 whole inch in order to get it a 1/2 inch inseam. So that means whatever that diagram was, 4 inches and 4 inch, you add a whole inch, and that way you're going to get it so that it's 1/2 inch and 1/2 inch on this. It's going to be taken off a 1/2 inch on this side. You're going to be taking off a 1/2 inch on this side. When you do that, it's going to be the 4 inches in the middle, okay? And then the same thing with the other side. It's going to be just point, half an inch away. So you need to do it a whole inch extra in order to get it that half inch. If you don't understand it, listen to it a couple of times. I'm sure you'll be able to get it. I'm trying to explain it so that way somebody that have not sewn before will understand what I'm saying without having to sit there and I don't want to explain it in big words and fancy words, and then you sitting there going, what? You know, and then algebra, you know, geometry. I mean, you know, you don't want to. But it does, believe it or not, it's funny. I used to laugh because I was like, what am I ever going to use this stuff for, you know? And then later in years, I found out that I needed it. And it was like, like, you know, like, never thought in real life I was going to need that mathematical part of math. You know what I mean? Like plus and adding and stuff like that. Yeah, I knew I was going to need that, but the geometry, I really didn't think I was gonna, but later on in life, you find out you need it, and this is one of the reasons that you need it. I kept this on the screen for a good amount of time, so that way you could see it. And then I'm gonna do it one more time, so you can take a snapshot of it. Oops, I can't get it all the way. Oh, here you go. This is all the way in. So you can take a picture of it, and then this way you'll have the diagram in order to be able to understand what you're doing. Hope you have a good day. If you end up doing this and you end up doing it right, wrong, or something like that, and you want to send me a picture, especially if it's wrong, and you want to send me a picture and say, hey, what am I doing wrong? Then I can explain to you. If you need to give me a final, if you need to give me what the final blocks are gonna look like, and then tell me what the inseam is, and I can add it for you. But you shouldn't be able to. Should be the 1/4 inch inseam, so that means you need to add a 1/2 inch. If you 1/2 inch inseam, you need to add a whole inch, because it's gonna be 1/2 and a 1/2, or a 1/4 and a 1/4. Alrighty, have a good day. Like, share, tell all your friends about me. A Rose's Creations and Healing. So I also do holistic healing too, but that is not part of this video. And then I also do a bunch of DIYs for a bunch of different things. It's not just sewing, and I will be doing a lot of sewing stuff. I have a advanced and beginners sewing group also. If you want to join that, you can. And then hopefully one of these days I get Patreon on here. If I get Patreon on here, you can add that in there. Right now I'm just kind of doing this for something to do because I'm stuck at home after an accident and there's not much. I can do some sewing, but I can't do a lot right now. So that's why I'm not actually just showing you. I'm just doing it this way instead, because this way it gets the information down that you need. But I'm not actually having to do the sewing in order to do this. Have a great day, and I will see you soon. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye now. A Rose's Creations.